Have you ever wondered what really keeps a man coming back? Not just texting you at midnight, but investing, committing, choosing you again and again. It's not just about how you look, how much you give, or how well you play it cool. The truth is, there are things that turn men on emotionally. Things they'll rarely admit but deeply crave. And once you understand them, everything about the way you connect shifts. Most people assume that men are naturally tough, emotionally closed off, and uninterested in deep connection. But this idea overlooks something crucial. Men crave emotional safety just as much as women do, often more, because they rarely feel like they're allowed to express that need. Society conditions men to suppress their emotions, to push through pain, to be the rock for everyone else. But underneath that exterior, there's a man who longs for someone he can drop the act with. Someone who doesn't just like him for his strength, but sees the parts he hides, and doesn't flinch. When a man meets a woman who creates emotional safety, it's magnetic. This doesn't mean she has to mother him or fix his problems. It means she shows him, through her presence and reactions, that he doesn't have to wear armor around her. He can talk about his fears, his doubts, his pressures, and she won't think less of him. She won't weaponize his vulnerability later. She won't roll her eyes when he talks about something sensitive, and she won't rush to make it about herself. She listens, she holds space, and maybe most importantly, she doesn't treat his emotions like a threat to his masculinity. There's something incredibly attractive about a woman who can be strong and soft at the same time. It's in the way she responds when he admits something personal. Maybe he shares that work has been stressing him out, or that he sometimes feels lost in his career. In that moment, the easy route is to brush it off or offer solutions. But the woman who looks him in the eyes and simply says, "That must be really hard," is doing something powerful. She's showing him that he doesn't have to perform. He can just be, and being fully accepted while in that raw state. That's a feeling most men don't even realize they're searching for until they experience it. Emotional safety also builds trust, and trust deepens physical and emotional intimacy. When a man feels emotionally safe, he opens up more. He lets you into parts of himself that no one else gets to see. He laughs deeper. He touches with more intention. He kisses with more presence. It shifts the entire dynamic of the relationship, because it's no longer built on pretense or ego. It's built on truth. The key here isn't to tolerate everything or let him get away with emotional unavailability. It's about creating a space where both people feel safe enough to be vulnerable while still holding each other to high standards of communication and respect. A man doesn't want to feel like he's constantly being tested, judged, or misunderstood. He wants to feel like when he turns to you, he'll be met with empathy, not criticism, not silence, not dismissal. When he gets that feeling from you, not once, but consistently, you become the person he never wants to lose. Because the rarest thing in his world isn't excitement, adventure, or beauty. It's peace. And peace with someone who truly sees him, that's the real turn on. Confidence is one of the most magnetic qualities a woman can have. But there's a specific kind of confidence that deeply attracts men. It's the kind that's grounded, not performative. This isn't about being the loudest in the room or pretending you don't care about anyone's opinion. Real confidence is quiet. It's the way a woman carries herself without needing to prove anything. She knows her worth, not because someone told her she's special, but because she has taken the time to understand herself, her value, her boundaries, her desires, and she doesn't apologize for it. When a woman shows up like that, it shifts the energy in any room. She doesn't chase, but she's not cold. She doesn't brag, but you can feel that she respects herself. Men notice it immediately, not in the obvious ways you might expect, like how she looks or what she wears, but in the way she moves, how she speaks, and how she reacts. She doesn't need constant reassurance, she's not begging to be chosen, and she's not trying to compete. There's a calm self-assurance that makes people want to be around her. Not because she demands attention, but because Men are especially drawn to this kind of confidence because it offers a sense of emotional stability. In a world full of mixed signals, passive aggression and insecurity disguised as independence, being around a woman who's rooted in herself feels incredibly refreshing. It tells a man that she can hold her own, but she doesn't need to dominate him, that she has opinions, but doesn't need to win every argument to feel powerful, that she wants love, but isn't desperate for it. That kind of energy is rare and deeply attractive. But here's what takes it to the next level: when that confidence is paired with warmth. A woman who's confident and kind, who's strong but emotionally open, creates a kind of duality that draws men in deeper. It's not about acting indifferent or trying to prove you don't need anyone. That version of confidence might create short-term intrigue, but it doesn't build connection. Men are actually turned off by arrogance or cold detachment, even though they may not always say it. What they really crave is someone who knows she's a prize, but still lets her guard down. Someone who makes them feel chosen, not tested. Someone who values herself, but still invites closeness. This balance is where true attraction lives. When a man senses that you're not afraid to walk away from something that doesn't align with your values, but you're also capable of giving deeply when it feels right, he starts to take you seriously. You're not just a fling or a momentary thrill. You become someone he respects, admires, and wants to invest in. Because what you're really showing him isn't just confidence, it's emotional maturity. And emotional maturity is sexy in a way that lasts longer than looks or surface level chemistry ever could. There's a common belief that men just want things to be easy when it comes to dating, that they don't like effort or emotional complexity. But what actually turns a man on, what keeps his attention and makes him feel alive in a connection, is a bit of a paradox. He doesn't want chaos, but he doesn't want predictability either. He wants the chase, but not the game. And yes, there's a difference. The chase is playful, stimulating, and keeps him engaged. It makes him feel like he's earning something valuable. Games, on the other hand, are rooted in manipulation, mixed signals, and emotional confusion. One builds attraction, the other erodes trust. When a woman knows how to create light tension without pushing into emotional immaturity, she becomes captivating. A playful challenge keeps a man mentally stimulated. It's in the way she doesn't immediately say yes to every plan. Not to be difficult, but because she has a full life. It's how she teases him back when he flirts, making him work a little harder to get that laugh or touch. It's how she stays a little mysterious, not by withholding her emotions, but by not giving everything away too soon. This doesn't mean being distant or withholding affection just to control the dynamic. It means she allows the relationship to unfold naturally and doesn't feel the need to rush into proving herself or locking him down. This is powerful because men are wired to pursue, not in some outdated caveman way, but in the sense that effort creates value. When something is too easy or handed over without any sense of effort or energy exchange, it tends to lose its emotional weight. A man who has to be a little more intentional, who has to think about how to win your attention or deepen the connection, ends up investing more. And the more someone invests, the more they value what they're receiving. But this only works if the challenge is balanced with genuine warmth. If a man starts to feel like he's constantly chasing approval or decoding rejection, he'll pull back. What excites him is the feeling that he's earning something real, not trying to impress someone who's emotionally unavailable. A healthy challenge also shows self-respect. It communicates that you have standards, not because you want control, but because you value your time and energy. That subtle sense of, I choose you, but I don't need you, is magnetic. It draws a man in because it suggests that if he's in your life, it's because he adds something, not because you're trying to fill a void. And that energy, the playful, open, self-assured energy of someone who enjoys the back and forth without making it a battle, is unforgettable. What he secretly wants is to be intrigued, to be met on his level, intellectually and emotionally, and to feel like he's pursuing someone who is worth it. Not someone who's playing hard to get, but someone who's worth getting. That's the difference between the chase and the game, and men feel it instinctively. Men often appear strong, self-assured and capable, but underneath that exterior is a deeper truth. They want to feel appreciated. They don't always ask for it, and many don't know how to express the need directly, but it exists. Just like anyone else, men long to be seen, not just for what they provide, but for who they are. They want to feel like their efforts matter, that the things they do, no matter how small, are recognized and valued. And when a woman notices those things, when she offers genuine appreciation, it hits differently. It creates a kind of emotional spark that sticks with him long after the moment passes. This isn't about feeding his ego or giving praise to manipulate. It's about giving credit where it's due. When a man goes out of his way to plan something, solve a problem, or simply show up for you in a consistent way, he's expressing care through action. Many men are taught that love is shown by doing, fixing, building, providing, showing up. So when those efforts are met with silence, criticism, or indifference, it can leave him feeling unimportant, even if he doesn't say it. But when a woman takes a moment to say, I see that, thank you, it goes straight to his heart. It tells him that what he does makes a difference and that he's not just going through the motions unnoticed. Appreciation also brings out more of a man's best self. When he feels value, he wants to keep showing up. He's more likely to open up emotionally, invest more time and deepen the connection. It creates a positive loop. He gives, she appreciates. He's inspired to give more. And it's not just about the big gestures. In fact, it's often the small things that matter most. Grabbing your favorite snack without being asked. Fixing something that was broken. Offering advice when you're stressed, or even just listening when you've had a long day. These are the moments where appreciation has real impact. A simple, I love the way you handled that, or it means a lot that you thought of me, can be more powerful than compliments about looks or success. It tells him that you're not just with him for what he has or what he represents. You actually notice the thought, the effort, the intention behind his actions. That kind of recognition builds emotional closeness and mutual respect. And beyond that, men want to feel admired. They want to feel like the woman they're with believes in them, respects them, and is proud of them. That admiration doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It can be in the way you speak about him to others, how you react when he talks about his goals, or even the tone of voice you use when you thank him. When a man feels admired by his partner, it fills a space in him that nothing else quite can. It makes him feel strong, seen and connected. And when that feeling is present, attraction deepens in a way that words alone can't fully describe. Most people assume that physical attraction is what keeps a man interested, but the truth is that emotional depth is what captures and holds his attention over time. Physical beauty might spark initial desire, but it's the emotional connection that creates long-lasting attraction. What men often won't say out loud is how much they crave a woman who is not just present but emotionally available. They want someone who doesn't just look good beside them but makes them feel something real, something grounding, something that touches the deeper parts of who they are. Emotional depth means a woman is in touch with her inner world. She knows what she feels, and she isn't afraid to share it. She doesn't wear a mask to be what she thinks someone wants. Instead, she shows up as her true self. That doesn't mean oversharing or dumping emotions recklessly. It means being able to express joy, disappointment, fear, excitement, and hope with honesty and clarity. When a man sees that kind of openness, he feels invited into a space that most people never let him access. It becomes a private world, shared just between the two of you. That kind of intimacy makes a man feel trusted, and trust builds a deep emotional bond that no surface level attraction can compete with. There's also a unique kind of mystery in emotional depth. Not the mystery that comes from being distant, but the kind that comes from someone who is always evolving, always learning, always growing. A woman with depth isn't afraid of silence, complexity, or vulnerability. She brings meaning into everyday conversations. She asks real questions, listens with intention, and offers perspective that makes a man think differently. She isn't afraid to talk about the hard things. Dreams, regrets, fears, or even the things that scare her most. And in doing that, she gives the man permission to do the same. That's where the real connection happens. In those spaces, most people are too guarded to explore. When a woman shares from a place of depth, it also creates emotional contrast. She can be playful and fun, but also reflective and real. This contrast is incredibly attractive, because it creates a fuller experience of who she is. She's not one-dimensional. She's not just a good time or a pretty face. She's someone with a rich emotional life, and being close to her makes a man feel more connected to his own emotions too, often without him even realizing it. Her depth calls something deeper out of him. It's in those moments when two people are sitting together, not just talking, but really seeing each other, that the most powerful kind of attraction is formed. It's the kind that lasts beyond chemistry, beyond passion, beyond any temporary high. A man remembers how a woman made him feel in her presence. And if she made him feel safe, seen, and stirred on a deeper level, he doesn't just desire her, he cherishes her. Emotional depth becomes the thing that sets her apart in a world that often only focuses on the surface. There's something men find deeply magnetic that often goes unnoticed in everyday dating advice: a woman's feminine energy when it feels inviting rather than demanding. This isn't about old school gender roles or putting women in a box. It's about emotional energy, how it feels to be in someone's presence. Feminine energy, when expressed in a healthy, grounded way, has a natural softness, warmth, and openness that draws men in without needing to chase them or control the outcome. It's not a performance. It's an emotional state that signals safety, receptivity, and connection. Men are more intuitive than they often get credit for. They can sense the emotional temperature of a situation almost instantly. When a woman is operating from anxious energy, when she's constantly pushing, questioning, overanalyzing, or needing reassurance, it sends a signal that she's not settled within herself. That energy can feel overwhelming or pressuring, even if her words are kind. On the flip side, when a woman moves with emotional ease, when her presence feels calm and open instead of forceful, it disarms him. It makes him feel like he's being invited rather than expected to deliver or perform. This kind of inviting energy doesn't mean holding back emotions or pretending everything's fine when it's not. It means expressing what you feel without making him responsible for fixing it. It's being vulnerable without losing your sense of self. A woman rooted in this energy can say, "I miss you," without demanding more attention. She can say, "That made me feel a little distant from you," without turning it into a test or accusation. That level of emotional grace creates room for a man to lean in, rather than pull away. Men are naturally drawn to environments where they feel emotionally safe, just like women are. But because men are so often in their logical, problem-solving mindset, they don't always create that safety for themselves. When a woman leads with warmth instead of pressure, with curiosity instead of criticism, he feels something rare, the freedom to relax and be fully present. That freedom is a turn-on in a way most men can't even explain. It's not just about physical intimacy, it's about the emotional space that makes that intimacy more meaningful. What many women don't realize is that this kind of feminine presence can be expressed in very subtle ways. In her tone of voice, the way she makes eye contact, how she reacts when something doesn't go her way. It's in the pauses she allows in conversation, the way she holds space without rushing to fill it. That energy says, I'm here, I'm whole, and I welcome you in, but I'm not collapsing if you don't show up a certain way. That balance between openness and self-possession is incredibly compelling. It allows men to experience connection without feeling controlled. It invites depth without pressure, and in a world full of noise, demands and expectations, that kind of softness becomes unforgettable, not because it's weak, but because it's powerful in a way that speaks to something deeper inside him. So what do men really want but rarely say out loud? It's not just about looks, chemistry, or the surface level excitement we're so often told to chase. What truly turns men on? The kind of connection that keeps them coming back, investing, opening up, is far more meaningful. It's emotional safety, the kind of confidence that doesn't seek validation, playful tension without manipulation, appreciation that sees the man beneath the role, emotional depth that invites vulnerability, and feminine energy that welcomes rather than demands. These things aren't about changing who you are. They're about coming home to your most grounded, radiant, and emotionally attuned self. When you embody these qualities, you don't just attract attention, you create desire rooted in trust, respect, and intimacy. And that's what every high-quality man is secretly searching for. Not someone perfect, not someone playing a role, but someone real. Someone who knows her value and makes him feel more like himself just by being around her. That's not a game. That's rare, and rare is unforgettable.